Welcome to the Straightforward Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Smackdown spoilers, the WWE main event, and some wrestling news going around the world. And here we go. WWE has released footage of Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, Sheamus, and Xavier Woods speaking at the grand opening of WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. And you can view all the footage at this link right here, youtube.com/user/WWE Fan Nation !feature equals watch. There's also footage of Florida Governor Rick Scott and Orange County Commissioner Jennifer Thompson if you're into political mumbo jumbo. Everything I've read about the new developmental training facility makes it seem as though it lived up to the big hype. WWE has also released a full 55-minute version of the press conference, which can be viewed at WWE.com. It was noted earlier this week that Randy Orton's divorce report from TMZ that Orton does make $3.5 million a year. Orton signed a 10-year deal, I believe, of $100 million a few years ago. It's a 10-year deal. The figures from court documents must include his income with everything figured in because the top WWE talents have a $1 million downside guarantee. Even with the merchandise sales figured in, the numbers for Orton seem a bit high. One person with familiarity with such numbers said the report of Orton making $291,666 per month is laughable, and that Orton may have had some specific months that went big when he was headlining top pay-per-views, but his guaranteed contract is nowhere near that level. It's pretty well known that the top tier of talent in the company earn $1 million downside, and nobody is contracted for more money except special attractions like The Rock or Brock Lesnar. Latina Morella will be guest judge at the Inside Fitness Model Search at the Living Arts Center in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada this Saturday afternoon. WWE has added Adam Bomb to their alumni roster, aka real name Brian Clark, the man who played Bomb, retired back in 2003 due to injuries. Ring of Honor star Rhett Titus appeared in a backstage segment with Vince McMahon, Vickie, Guerrero, and Brad Maddox during this past Monday's Raw. Word from Raw is that Titus had not signed a deal with WWE yet, but he has not begun the process for WWE to sign him, such as physical tests and everything that goes along with it. He is still signed to Ring of Honor, but because of storylines there, he's off TV and has looked into work elsewhere. Titus was booked last week to come to work this week's TV tapings as a tryout. Several WWE couples will be featured in E's Total Divas show later this month. We already know John Cena and Nikki Bella, Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella, Tyson Kidd and Natalya recently got married, Jimmy Uso and Naomi, and we can confirm that there's yet another couple on the show. But I was reading some articles that Justin Gabriel got married a few months ago, but now he's dating a new diva called JoJo Offerman. We'll wait and see what happens with that. WrestlingDVDnews.com has confirmed 3 matches that will be featured on WWE's new Triple H DVD and Blu-ray set that hit stores on September 24th. Thy Kingdom Come will feature a lengthy documentary on Triple H's career, and the Blu-ray version will include extra interview footage. There will be at least 12 matches included. 3 of those matches are Iron Man match for the WWE title, Rock vs. Triple H from Judgment Day 2000. World Heavyweight title match, RVD vs. Triple H from June 30th of 2000, Raw. And the return injury, King Booker vs. Triple H at SummerSlam 2007. WWE has announced that Kane's status for the WWE Money in the Bank match will be revealed on the spoiler for this Friday. WWE is playing up the injury angle from Monday involving the Wyatt family. The company has yet to indicate whether Kane would be replaced in the Money in the Bank match. RVD spoke with WWE website regarding his return at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Following are the highlights from the interview, which can be read in full at WWE.com. RVD said on who he would be knew he would be returning, as Triple H was the guy I was talking to, and I sent Booker a text. It wasn't a definite deal until 2 weeks at the most before the video started running. Once I got my starting date of Money in the Bank, that made it real. RVD commented on winning the WWE Championship at One Night Stand in 2006, winning the match at the Hammerstein Ballroom, and bringing it home. That championship to ECW meant so much to me, not because I always wanted to be WWE champion. In fact, I didn't think that was ever going to happen. If I had changed the entire playing field, when we brought ECW back as a third brand, I couldn't have been happier. That was the way I wanted to be seen. When I'm in the ring, I'm showing off. That's what I get out of my matches. Just like the upcoming Money in the Bank ladder match, it's the perfect way to bring RVD back, because the rules that normally confine us and make us harder to stand out are thrown out of the window. For me, reviving ECW was a resurgence of motivation. Doing the ECW style on WWE's platform was a dream come true that I had never thought possible before. I was the happiest that I could ever been. Any comments on the mindset after being suspended and dropping the WWE and ECW titles? I had dropped the ball, and that was very disheartening. It was definitely a low point for me. It was in Philadelphia just like this Sunday, and I wrestled Big Show for the ECW Championship. After the 3 count, all the fans were checking their litter into the ring. The disappointing vibration of that went straight to my heart. I rolled out of the ring, down to the floor to avoid the debris, and I felt so low. Any comments on being held back? You could say that if getting to the top was indeed my goal, which it never was, I was always happy with whatever cards like life dealt me. I did feel like there was a glass ceiling above my head, and I could only get so far because I stuck true to myself. I was okay with that. Several times people like WWE producer Bruce Pritchard and Shane McMahon pulled me aside and told me I needed to build a relationship with Mr. McMahon and tell him I was his man to give me the ball. But I thought my work stood for itself. I thought they were telling me I wasn't going to get much further. So I got the love, the connection with the crowd, the respect and the vibration that I feel when the fans are chanting RVD. If I get that and I get paid, then I accepted that as my position. I was surprised to see the suspicion come up in the conversation why he viewed working for WWE and selling out at one time, getting past the reputation of having a bad attitude and what Jim Ross admitted what he was wrong about, and much, much more. Ring of Honor has signed Adam Page for a contract, according to a video released today. And you can see that video at the link I'm going to post here. I have seen Adam Page work many times, and I've always been very high on the lid. He has a great look and is more capable in the ring. He's a little vanilla and needs to work on his mic skills, but those can be fixed. He also comes across to me as someone with that ever elusive it factor that can be the difference between why one guy does well, and a similar guy does not. Keep your eye on this kid. Former WWE developmental wrestler Percy Watson, aka Nick McNeil, spoke with AlwaysAlist.com's John Murray and denied reports that his release came from missing practices and match run-throughs, along with attitude problems stemming from being sent back to developmental after working Raw house shows. Watson stated, "I've never missed a training session in my life, regardless of what sport I was playing, including wrestling in WWE and FCW. That was truly not the case at all. My release had nothing to do, in my opinion, to my work ethic whatsoever. You can read the article and listen to part of the interview at always.list.com/exclusive Percy Watson-WWE. Link. Other highlights. Thought on his former NXT coach MVP. He was a great person to work with and learn from. I mean, obviously he's been around longer than me. He knows the real ins and outs. He was consistently trying to teach me that the way to go about. That's more to wrestling than just what we do in the ring. That's one of his big things. He taught me how to be a good performer. That was one of the many things he taught me, but it was very important to me. Who he wants to wrestle if he returns to WWE? Maybe Ryback. He's a big monster. I love to show the public that he's a big guy who can be taken off his feet. And that's enough about him. Matt Morgan is telling colleagues that TNA released him from his contract on Tuesday. It was well known within the TNA locker room that Morgan asked the company officials for his release a month ago. And he was doing some cryptic quotes on his site, Facebook and Twitter. It's a logical move for TNA to make sense that they are clearly looking to trim expenses based on the talent cut last week and now Morgan this week. And Morgan presumably made more money than anyone who was cut at the time. He has been used only once on television since he lost a match to Sting for his #1 contender status at the April 25th Impact taping. Morgan previously worked for WWE, and given his size and promo ability, one has to wonder if a WWE return is locked in his future. Featured match of the WWE main event is Dolph Ziggler versus Antonio Cesaro was your main event. WWE will also be airing an hour of programming on Ion Network at 6 p.m., 1 hour prior to it, which I did not see and it did not record, so I don't even know if it was even there. It did not record. It's been listed as both a replay of last week's main event and a WWE Money in the Bank preview special. DGUSA is in Queens, New York on July 27th with the following advertised matches. Anthony Nese versus Akira Tozawa. John Davis versus Chuck Taylor. DGUSA is in Manhattan, New York on July 28th, the following night, with the following advertised matches. Johnny Gargano defends the title against the winner of a four-way match. Timo versus Akira Tozawa versus Tomahawk TT versus EITA in a four-way match for the title shot. Evolved champion AR Fox versus Trent Beretta. The Young Bucks versus Ricochet and Rick Swann for the Open United States title. And Jigsaw Fire Nightmare and Amethyst versus Chuck Taylor, Ophidian, and the Bateri in an 8-man tag match. Former pro wrestler Billy Jack Haynes, a.k.a. William Haynes III, is 60 years old. Now, he was born July 10th, 1953. He claimed he was fired by WWE when he declined to lose a match. That being said, he's said a lot of things in shoot interviews over the years that people have questioned the validity of. The late Bobo Brazil, a.k.a. Houston Harris, was born on the same date, on 1924. He died January 20th, 1998. Following a series of strokes, he was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1994. The late Johnny Grunge, a.k.a. Mike Durham, was born on this date, the same date, July 10th, 1966. He was one half of Public Enemy tag team that initially gained fame in ECW before also having run-ins in WWE and WCW. He died at the age of 39 on February 16, 2006 as a result of sleep apnea complications. WWE has teamed with Doritos, Jacked, and Dollar General in 2 SummerSlam contests. The first requires fans to buy 2 bags of Doritos chips at Dollar General through July 21st to win the ultimate hometown SummerSlam viewing party hosted by WWE Legends Sgt. And Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Plus thousands of other prizes and access to exclusive WWE videos and games. The second requires fans to upload a video to WWE's YouTube channel with winners selected to interview a WWE star for the WWE app. And you can read the joint press release at this link here, which is www.folker-traders.com /World Wrestling Entertain -149626 /news /World Wrestling Entertainment Inc. Doritos, Jack Brand, and WWE A&E reward fans with 2 Ultimate SU and then the number 17079528. The cities listed for the interview contest are Brooklyn, Austin, Laredo, Green Bay, and Sacramento. If any reader were to win, or any viewer were to win, please let us know how it went. Sounds like a cool experience? Wait and see. WWE star Tyson Kidd, a.k.a. Theodore James T.J. Wilson, turned 33 years old. Kidd, who is recovering from a torn meniscus he suffered in January, recently wed WWE diva Natalya after dating more than a decade. The late Shinya Hashimoto died on this date, 2005, of a brain aneurysm at the age of 40. Hashimoto was one of New Japan's Pro Wrestling's 3 Musketeers, along with Masahiro Chono and Haiji Muto. The trio was the hottest act in New Japan Pro Wrestling throughout the 1990s. Former NWA WWE star Butch Reed turned 59 years old. Reed, who teamed with the WWE Hall of Famer Ron Simmons as Doom in WCW, holds the dubious distinction of being the first man ever eliminated in a Royal Rumble match. July 11th ESPN Classic matches that was listed for 2 a.m. Central airing time of AWA on the ESPN Classic. Hernandez versus Larry Zbyszko. Davey Richards versus Stan Hansen. Colonel De Beers versus Curtis. The Sheik and Boris Zukov versus the Midnight Rockers. The following matches were listed for the 3 a.m. show. Snow versus Washington. Petson versus Tolis. Steve O versus Mr. Magnificent. Ustinov versus Evans and Larry Zbyszko versus Stevens. And Hennig versus Greg Gagne for the AWA Championship. And the 4 a.m. airing time advertised was Midnight Express versus Burke and Allen. Steve O versus Rick Gatner, Wahoo and Peterson versus Leon and Sanchez. Nasty Boys versus Jarrett and Burke. Rich versus Stone. Boris Zukov versus Arn Anderson. The dark main event for WWE Smackdown taping. Supposed to be Sheamus, Randy Orton, and Chris Jericho versus Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns, also known as The Shield, in a 6-man tag match. No results were posted, so I guess the match was scratched. WWE legend Kevin Nash turned 54. He was born July 9th, 1959. Nash continues to make independent appearances, as he also made some appearances for WWE's developmental territory, NXT. Shelton Benjamin, 38. He was born July 9th, 1975. Benjamin currently works for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Former WWE and WCW wrestler Mark Merrow turned 50. He was born July 9th, 1963. Merrow worked as Johnny B. Bad during his WCW run. He was married to Sable, a.k.a. Rena Lesnar, for over a decade, and he has since remarried, unknown who her name is. He has been a vocal critic of steroid and recreational drug use in pro wrestling since retiring. Motivational speaking and also Christian speaking as well. Former WCW wrestler Paul New is 47 and he was born 1966 on July 9th. He wrestled as PN News in WCW. He also worked under his own name in AWA and drove the shittiest car that was still drivable that I have ever seen in my life to his first match in the Twin Cities many years ago. My friends and I were laughing about the loud noises coming from this bomb of a car, and I remember being shocked when New emerged from the driver's seat That car belongs in some sort of bad car hall of fame. Here's hoping he's upgraded since then. Tom Brady, turned 47. He was born July 9, 1966. Brady wrestled as Salvatore Sinceri in WWE and Johnny Gunn in WCW. In addition to using his own name in ECW and on the indie scene, he's also been known to work the Patriot gimmick. The following matches were listed for the 11 p.m. Central airing time of the AWA on ESPN Classic Midnight Rockers versus Knight and Ruiz, Bruiser Brody versus White. It's probably Vader's real name, Leon White. Colonel De Beers versus Nick Bockwinkel. On no date for that. I guess that was Thursday night, meaning last night. The following matches were listed for the 11 p.m. show on ESPN Classic Midnight Rockers versus. I think I already read that. Yeah, I did. Okay. Smackdown taping. First report from Hampton, Virginia. Results courtesy of Josiah from ProWrestling.net. Daniel Bryan defeated Christian. Solid back and forth match. The crowd was hot for Daniel Bryan when he ran out. Daniel made Christian tap out. Match number 2. Seth Rollins defeated Jey Uso. The crowd was hot for both the Usos and the Shield. Jey Uso had most of the match. Roman jumped on the apron and got distracted. He distracted Jey for Rollins' victory. Match number 3. Chris Jericho defeated Curtis Axel by countout. The crowd loved Jericho all through the match. Axel did not get a pop from the fans at all. Axel controlled most of the match and Jericho tossed Axel out of the ring for the chain count. That must be his second match loss. Just winning the Intercontinental, so it must be non-title again. Ryback defeated Miz. Both of the guys were receiving cheers from the fans. Ryback was tossed in the corner by Miz. Ryback looked as if he was hurt. Talking to the ref, he pushed the ref out of the way and clotheslined the Miz. He hit the Miz with a shell shock to win the match. Match number 5. Fandango defeated Wade Barrett. Wade walked out first to no crowd reaction at all. Then Zeb Coulter walked out with Swagger and Cesaro. Fandango was out last. Team Rhodes Scholars came out and during the match and had an altercation with Jack and Cesaro. Wade got distracted and Fandango capitalized. AJ and Caitlyn signed the contract for their Money in the Bank match. AJ showed some text messages on the Tron of Caitlyn texting her lover. This made Caitlyn mad and pushed the table over AJ in the corner of the ring. Del Rio comes out. Sin Cara made his entrance and attacked Del Rio before the match could start. Sin Cara hits Del Rio with a zigzag and did the show-off dance. The match never started, so there was no match. Excuse me. Vickie comes out and said she had bought a ticket and should be allowed to be there. Teddy Long came out and got Vickie kicked out of the arena. What's she trying to do? Go to Smackdown and be the GM there? When everybody knows it's already still Booker T. Match number 6 in your main event. Sheamus fought Randy Orton to apparent no contest. A strong match between the two. Around 15 minutes into the match, a double takedown happened. Daniel Bryan comes out, got a ladder, and hit both Sheamus and Orton at the same time. Bryan tried to climb the ladder, but Christian came back out and beat him up. Christian tried to climb, but Sheamus knocked him off. Sheamus tried to get the Money in the Bank case, but Orton pushed him off. Orton climbed up the ladder and removed the case and held it up to send the crowd home happy. As there was no dark match by the reporter on that, so we get the main event on Ion Television, taped earlier from this week from Hampton, Virginia. Actual show results. Zeb Coulter cut the promo about how America has become lazy and no longer works hard. He put over Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro as hard-working Americans and promised that they would sacrifice and go on to win the Money in the Bank World Heavyweight Championship ladder match. He concluded with "We the People" line. And your first match, Dolph Ziggler versus Antonio Cesaro with Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter. Cesaro overpowered Ziggler early and began working over Ziggler's arm. Ziggler managed to get Cesaro on the mat and pummeled him with repeated elbow drops. Cesaro rolled out of the ring as they go to commercial. Back from the break, Ziggler and Cesaro fought for control until Cesaro managed to drop Ziggler on the ropes. Cesaro went to targeting Ziggler's neck. Cesaro hit a hell of a gut-wrench suplex, followed by a running double stomp for a near fall. Cesaro then locked in an abdominal stretch, and the crowd started chanting for Ziggler. Ziggler had a hope spot late, but he ended up eating an elevated European uppercut for another Cesaro near fall. As they go to another commercial, Cesaro, after commercial, hits another gut-wrench suplex for another 2 count. Ziggler managed to catch Cesaro with a neck breaker followed by a famouser for the near fall of his own. Cesaro came right back and hit his apron to ring superplex for a great near fall. Cesaro locked in a chin lock, but Ziggler managed to escape the hold, and Ziggler began to pick up the pace and reverse Cesaro's elevated uppercut into a jumping DDT. Coulter Swagger got on the apron and were thwarted by Ziggler, but Cesaro used a distraction to hit Ziggler with the European uppercut again. Ziggler hit the zigzag out of nowhere, but Swagger dragged Ziggler from the ring, causing the disqualification. And the match took 19 minutes 37 seconds. Cesaro and Swagger attacked Ziggler after the match, but Ziggler was able to outpace the 2 men and escape up the ramp. Ziggler celebrated on the stage as the announcer set up a recap of the Mark Henry and John Cena feud. Tons of Funk and the Funkadactyls make their full entrance as they go to commercial. Great match. Cesaro looked like a beast with all of his offense, and Ziggler sold for him extremely well. Still believe that Ziggler would be better off as a babyface if he shed the show-off gimmick. His current character has a great chase story behind him, but he's acting exactly like he did as a heel. That and his continued relationship with a heel woman is giving WWE's audience mixed signals, and when WWE needs him to be getting over as someone the crowd can rally behind, Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow make their official statement of the way into the ring. Team Rose Colors is a cohesive unit and will stand together and victorious tonight at the Money in the Bank. And Rose Colors and Heath Slater with Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal versus Great Khali and Tons of Funk. Tensai overpowered Rhodes early, and Rhodes rolled to the floor to catch his breath as they go to commercial. Back from the break, Tons of Funk continued to work over Cody. The remaining 3MB members managed to cause a distraction, and Sandow was able to catch Tensai on the ropes. The heels took over the action and began working down the big man. Brodus Clay got a hot tag and worked his offense on Damian Sandow. Sandow tagged Slater into the match, and Rose Colors retreated up the ramp. Great Khali then tagged in, chopped Heath Slater, and covered him for the pinfall. Tons of Funk, Great Khali won in an 8-minute 37 match. A video package about the Wyatt family and their Raw debut aired. Miz and Josh Matthews reported that Kane was doubtful for participating in the Money in the Bank All-Stars match. As they go to commercial. The match certainly wasn't for the internet crowd, but it had to be a spectacle for the younger members of the audience. I didn't care for it, but it came and went in relatively painless fashion. A replay of Vickie Guerrero's job evaluation and firing aired to close the show. Of all the full replay recaps they could have done with, they went with the least interesting bit of Raw. I know it contained all the big authority figures in WWE television, but it was woefully uninteresting live. Even more so in recap form, overall the show what has become the norm for a main event. Second, results for WWE main event and the Smackdown TV taping, thanks to ProWrestling.net reader Nate. Main event, he says, Dolph Ziggler defeated Antonio Cesaro. Ziggler won by disqualification when Swagger interfered. Best match of both tapings. Tons of Funk and Great Khali defeated Heath Slater and Rhodes Colors. Khali hit Slater with a brain chop for the win after Rhodes Colors left. And that was it for the main event. 3 SmackDown results. Daniel Bryan defeated Christian. Daniel Bryan won with a yes note, Borgasm lock, and a great match. Multiple yes chants throughout the match. Seth Rollins defeated Jey Uso. Seth won after Some shenanigans on the outside. Shield came out one section below where the reporter was sitting, and that was cool. Match number 3, Chris Jericho defeated Curtis Axel. Axel really didn't get any reaction, which is disappointing. Count out for Jericho. Side note, I think Cesaro and Axel had a bet on who could destroy the ringside area more. So, seriously, watch main event and Smackdown and you'll see. Match number 4, Ryback defeated Miz. Ryback won after shell shock in a somewhat forgettable match. AJ Lee and Caitlyn contract signing. Okay, promo work, but the bump AJ took after the spear was awesome and well worth the wait. AJ had some great one-liners. Match number 5, Fandango defeated Wade Barrett. Summer Rae was hot. Match was just there to build for the Money in the Bank match. No Dean Ambrose. Makes me think he might take it at the pay-per-view. Del Rio and Sakara never really got started as it was revealed that it was Ziggler through his motions. Ziggler was earlier told to go home by Teddy Long. Afterwards, Vickie Guerrero came out and Teddy Long called for security and they escorted her out. The security guards were independent wrestlers Rhett Titus, Chase Owens, Bobby Shields, and I believe Kyle Matthews. In your main event was Randy Orton fighting Sheamus to a no contest. Orton is defiantly super over and the match was good. Daniel Bryan came out after a nasty fall from both competitors and hit them with the ladder. Christian came out and went for the briefcase, but eventually Orton got the briefcase and posed to send the crowd home happy. In the main event, a spoiler by Sherrod Jones. Dolph Ziggler versus Antonio Cesaro with Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger was up first. Coulter cut a promo about how Swagger or Cesaro will win Money in the Bank. Correspondent called this a must-see match. That the crowd was very much into. Ziggler won by disqualification after Swagger interference. Heath Slater, Cody Rhodes, and Damian Sandow versus Tensai, Brodus Clay, and the Great Khali was up next. And Sandow cut a promo about how he or Cody will win the Money in the Bank. Cody and Sandow walked out on the match, leaving Slater to take the big chop from Khali to end the match. And the third report for Smackdown tapings by the same person, Sherrod Jones. From Hampton, Virginia again, JBL and Michael Cole out for commentary as the Money in the Bank briefcase hangs high above the ring. Daniel Bryan versus Christian was up first. Strong opening match. Bryan got the win with a yes lock. Sheamus versus Randy Orton was announced for later. And backstage segment with Teddy Long gave Dolph Ziggler the night off. Ziggler tells Teddy that he's looking at the next World Heavyweight Champion. Jey Uso versus Seth Rollins was up next. Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns are at ringside. Rollins got the win after a knee to the back of the head. The Shield celebrates on the announcer's table. Chris Jericho defeated Curtis Axel by count out and took the code breaker on the ropes. Axel goes crazy after the match and tears up the announcer's table while Paul Heyman tries to calm him down. The Wyatt family are advertised for later in the evening. WWE crew members are busy trying to put the announce table back together. Ryback versus The Miz was up next. Ryback fakes a knee injury and hits the hook clothesline on Miz for the win. Backstage segment with Sheamus. He says he will win the Money in the Bank to become the 3-time WWE champion. But first tonight, he will defeat Randy Orton. Teddy Long came out for a contract signing. He's got Cameron, Naomi, Oksana, Layla, Alicia Fox, and Natalya with him. Biggie Langston was out first with AJ Lee, followed by Caitlyn. Caitlyn and AJ talked trash to each other, but signed the contract eventually. AJ reveals text from Caitlyn talking trash about Natalya and the Great Khali. A cat fight broke out. Caitlyn slapped Big E and speared AJ. And that was described as a very good segment. Fandango versus Wade Barrett was up next. Zeb Coulter was on commentary and he has Cesaro and Swagger with him. Fandango wins with a quick roll-up. Cesaro and Swagger argue with Sandow and Rhodes at ringside. Promo with the Wyatt family. Bray Wyatt shows footage and talks about how they destroyed Kane on Raw. Alberto Del Rio versus Sin Cara was up next. The match never started because Dolph Ziggler dressed as Sin Cara attacked Del Rio and beat him up. Vickie Guerrero came out to booze. Teddy Long interrupted her and had security escort her out of the building. Fans sing goodbye to her on the way out. Vickie leaves through the crowd with security. Sheamus versus Randy Orton was up next. Backstage segment with Teddy Long stopping Dolph Ziggler. It sounds like Sin Cara appears and is wearing his wrestling gear, making it look like he was actually the one who attacked Del Rio. Sheamus versus Randy Orton ends in a no disqualification when Daniel Bryan interfered. Christian came out with and set up the ladder in the middle of the ring. Christian and Sheamus balled to the floor. Orton hit the RKO on Bryan. Orton climbed to the ladder and retrieved the briefcase. Smackdown went off the air with Orton standing tall on top of the ladder. And a fourth report coming up. Well, this is the NXT results. Let's see if I can. I'll give it a shot. Okay. NXT results. Spoilers. August the 5th, August the 12th, August 19th, August 26th episodes of NXT Tonight at Full Sail University at Winter Park, Florida. Here are the spoilers thanks to Johnny Fuller. August the 5th, Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy open the show but get confronted by Tensai, Brodus Clay, and Mason Ryan. Ryan takes them both out and then dances with Clay and Tensai. Charlotte defeated Sasha Banks. Eric Rowan and Luke Harper with Bray Wyatt won a squash over Mickey Keegan and Aiden English. Wyatt cut a promo about the match and talked about changing the world. He says tonight they say goodbye to NXT. Corey Graves with Adrian Neville defeated Scott Dawson with Sylvester Lefort. The Shield came out after the match and said that they are back at NXT. Ambrose says Neville stole Cassius Ohno's spot and called it an injustice, challenging Neville to a match. Neville accepts for next week, but wants the U.S. title on the line. Leo Kruger and Antonio Cesaro beat Bo Dallas and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn is the former El Generico. August the 12th episode, Adrian Neville defeated Dean Ambrose by disqualification with the U.S. title on the line. The DQ came when Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns interfered. Corey Graves and Xavier Woods made the save. For those that don't remember, Xavier Woods is the former Consequences Creed. Summer Rae and Emma participated in a dance contest to determine the number one contender for the NXT Women's title. Fans chose the winner and Emma won. Summer attacked her after the decision. Tyler Breeze defeated Danny Burch. Bo Dallas defeated Leo Kruger with the NXT title on the line. August the 19th. Spoiler. Paul Heyman comes out and says he's looking for a new Heyman guy. He introduces Kurt Axel and talks about the future. Big E Langston comes out and wants an Intercontinental title shot. Axel tells him to bring it, but jokes that maybe he can get a title shot around Thanksgiving or Christmas. Big E talks Axel into defending it tonight. Big E Langston beat Curtis Axel with the IC title on the line by disqualification when Heyman interfered and hit Big E. Big E cornered Heyman, but Axel made a save. Big E blocked a belt shot and hit Big E in on Axel. Mason Ryan defeated Scott Dawson. Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy attacked Ryan, but he tossed them out onto Dawson. Paige defeated Summer Rae with the women's title on the line. Emma came out after the match and beat Summer down. No word of why Emma didn't get the title shot. The Shield defeated Adrian Neville, Xavier Woods, and Corey Graves in the main event of that evening. And August 26th, spoiler, AJ Lee defeated Bayley with the WWE Divas title on the line. Conor O'Brien, the Rat, and Rick Victor defeated Ron Hicks and Michael Zaki. CJ Parker came out with a new hippie gimmick and squashed Baron Corbin. He was interviewed by Renee Young after the match, but Tyler Breeze interrupted him and they got into it. Antonio Cesaro defeated Sami Zayn in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Sami got the first pinfall, but Cesaro got the next 2 for the win. And that was a surprise. One of the best matches from WWE in years. Fans chanted Match of the Year and gave both men standing ovations. And that ends my results and spoilers for this week and August for NXT. Thanks again. Peace out.